I will start with this line, which is very close to my heart, which is written in one of the famous book of Shiv Khera, Who Dares Win. So he says one statement. He says, जीतने वाले कोई अलग काम नहीं करते, वो हर काम अलग ढंग से करते हैं. Winners don't do different things, they do the same thing differently. And that is what we are, if we want to become more effective, if we want to become more successful, we need to learn that. You all can see on the screen, there is a box, there is some gift which is wrapped. If I ask you all a question, which is the best gift that you have received till date, I am sure your answer would be the gift of life. My dear friends, if we consider the situation that is going on around us, the present situation of COVID-19, we all are concerned about our health. We all are concerned about our life. We all are concerned about our family members' life. And that is the reason why we all are working from home by staying. When we talk about this, my dear friends, I am sure you will also agree with me on one more concept, which says that from our life, there are two things that we are expecting. One is success and the other is happiness. So we all want to be successful in our life. So maybe if you have joined as a teacher, as a pre-primary teacher long back, you want to be a coordinator. If you have joined as a primary teacher, you want to be a teacher of secondary. If you have joined as a teacher, you want to become coordinator, you want to become the HOD, you want to become the principal, you want to become the director, like this. So success definition definitely is different for everybody because everybody has their own thought process. But in general, when we talk about success, and if we associate it with job, then definitely we are expecting a growth in our chart, isn't it? And the second and most important thing that we are expecting from our life is happiness. I am sure all of us are expecting we want every day to bring happiness to our lives, isn't it? So we keep on performing some or the other thing that makes us happy. So today, in today's session, I am going to give you 7 mantras which can help you as a teacher to make you more successful. Now, these mantras are not identified by me. These mantras are identified by a management guru. His name is Stephen Covey. And he has mentioned it in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book. And what I have done from my side is I have associated those 7 habits with the habits of teacher. So I begin with this, and I hope this will be a enlightening session wherein you will. So the very first characteristic, the very first habit. So we are going to talk about 7 habits, and from that I am going to talk now about habit number 1, that is be proactive. Now what is be proactive? यहाँ पर हिंदी में भी उसका मतलब दिया गया है. It says तैयार और सक्रिय रहिए. Let me give you a general example and then I will be giving you a teacher related example. If you are concerned about your health, you will not wait for the doctor to tell you that you are diabetic or you have BP issues or you have certain major issues for which, or you are overweight. So immediately you should start your walking or exercise. If you are proactive, you will be concerned about your health and you will be exercising daily. So this is what is the meaning of being proactive. My dear friends, I would definitely say this for everybody, that your life does not just happen, whether you know it or not. It is certainly designed by you, by the choices that you make. So whatever is your life, whatever is my life, whatever is the life of X, Y, Z teacher, it is you who has, you are responsible for that life because you have made the choices for your life. For example, you choose to be happy, you choose to be sad, you choose to work hard, or you yourself also choose sometimes to skip the work. You choose to accept promotion. if you want growth in your life. At the same time, there are people who choose to remain at the same position because they do not want to come out of their comfort zone. You choose to have the courage by saying truth, sometimes which is bitter, and you choose to, your failure also, because if you are unable to cope up with the situation, with the change, then it is your decision, to accept the failure very easily. So every situation gives you an opportunity to make choices, and how you make the choices is going to decide your present and your future. Let me give you now an example from our teaching field. Now, if, for example, Leena ma'am says that this is a portfolio, this is a committee that no one has taken, and this has come new to our institution, and I want someone to accept this committee or the portfolio. Who is ready to take this portfolio or committee instead of Leena ma'am telling? Because she's a democratic principal, so she will never ever say, she will never ever dictate that you take this or you take that. So what would he, so if at that time, let me give you an example. For example, if X teacher says, ma'am, I would love to take this portfolio and let me take this as a challenge, as an opportunity. So that time you are making a very wise choice, because see what can happen. Either you will succeed, or even if you do not succeed, you will take it as a learning experience. So this is when you are making a choice of growth. So my dear friends, with this, I would like to tell you all that always be proactive, always take wise decision if you want to grow in your life. To go further with the same habit of being proactive, I also want to tell you that people, those who are proactive, they always take responsibility of their life. They always take responsibility of their academics, their job portfolio. Let me give you an example. Once upon a time, Mrs. Mehra had a very bad result. The result of the class was very low. So principal asked Mrs. Mehra, can you tell me, आपका result इतना कम क्यों आया है? What is the reason for your low result? And what Mrs. Mehra replied? Mrs. Mehra said, sir, yes, my result is low because the class was a mediocre class. So they were not intelligent. So this is when you are not taking the responsibility. But proactive people, in other case, if Mrs. Mehra is proactive, she can instead say, sir, I am responsible for the less result, and I will see to it that how I can improve on their results. So this is taking responsibility of your actions, because it is definitely not the fault of students, but it is the fault of the teacher. She should have taken extra efforts for the students. Let me give you another example. If your principal comes for class observation, or if your coordinator comes for class observation, and children are making lot of noise, lot of mess they have made, बहुत उन्होंने तंग कर दिया और आपने देखा कि आपका क्लास तो मैनेज ही नहीं हो रहा है. In that case, you assume, or you assume in your mind that आपका तो class observation का score कम ही आया होगा. What will happen in that case? You are called by the principal and you are asked to discuss about the class observation, and you tell, in first case, you tell Mrs. Mehra in first situation says, sir, the children are very naughty, they are not at all listening to me, and that is the reason the class went on, became a mess, and I was not able to teach anything. This is not a good quality, remember my dear friends. Because if you are a teacher, you should know the ways how to manage the students. So it is not class control. Class control is done by reactive people, and proactive people are managing the class. So proactive people will always say, in situation 2, Mrs. Mehra would always say, sir, yes, today maybe I wasn't able to manage the students, but I will definitely come out with some strategy through which I will be able to manage them more effectively. So that is the sign of proactive people. My dear friends and teachers, let me tell you, if you are proactive, you will always have an attitude of I can. And if you are a reactive person, if you are a reactive teacher, you will immediately react. You will if somebody says, Leena ma'am says, who want this committee? And if she looks at you, you will immediately say, I cannot. You will resist. So this is not a good quality if you are expecting growth in your life. At the same time, let me give you some more examples. If there is a new subject and if your coordinator of your head or your head says that this is a new subject and I want you all, I want somebody to take this subject, what would happen in natural condition? It is expected that we resist, because we have to prepare immediate, we have to prepare for the new subject. We right from the micro plan to everything in detail, we will have to plan. So we will resist. First of all, if you will resist if you are reactive, but you will not resist if you are proactive. So if you are proactive, you will accept the subject, you will teach it to the most of your capability. If somebody, I remember 3 years before, when my ex-principal told me that we are going to introduce flipped classroom strategy in the regular teaching learning, I remember there were so many teachers who resisted, who said no to flipped classroom as a strategy. But then somewhere it was, we, some of us accepted, and trust me, it worked like wonders. It worked like, bringing high results for the students. So this is, the quality of proactive people, that you say, that you are saying yes to the opportunities which are knocking at your door. So this is about the first quality, be proactive. Now with this we are, I hope first habit is clear to everybody. Okay. So we are now moving to the second habit. And the second habit says, begin with the end in mind. Yes. So इसका हिंदी में अनुवाद है, हर काम का अंतिम लक्ष्य अपने दिमाग में रखें. आपको कहाँ पहुंचना है, अगर आपको पता है, आप उसी डायरेक्शन में जाएंगे. If you know what is your goal, if you know what is your destination, you will definitely make a move towards the destination. But if your goal is not clear, my dear friends, आप रास्ता भटक सकते हैं. So that is why it is very important that you are very clear about your vision. Now to tell you this, let me tell you कि कोई भी चीजें दो प्रकार से बनती है. First is the mental creation, आप पहले दिमाग में बनाते हैं, and then is the physical creation. To give you an example of from a teaching field, you are making the lesson plan first in your mind. You think, how I can teach, what question I can ask, and then you jot down your lesson plan on your paper, and then you execute it. So it is like first you are making a mental creation, and then you are actually creating the physical creation. It's like a job of an architect, isn't it? He is making the blueprint, and then he is executing as per the blueprint the building, the design of the building. Okay, so this is also an example. There is one more example which I will be giving to the leaders. So if there are leaders or principals or coordinators who are present in this session, they have to be very much clear about their vision. What do they want the organization to achieve? Let me give you a small example. If in your vision, if you say we believe in holistic development, so my dear leaders, what is holistic development? What all actions you are thinking of through which you are going to achieve the holistic development? So this vision, if it is clear, then I am sure you will be able to achieve the set target, because vision will be clear in your mind, and if it is clear in your mind, you will be able to percolate it down to the line. To give you an example to all the teachers, those who are present here, if it can be a goal which is related to bringing a Nasik topper from Bhosla. So if you are thinking of bringing a Nasik topper from Bhosla, from Vidya Prabodhini, so what, this is what is your goal, right? So you have a goal, and for that goal, you plan, you work out, you plan it on paper, you plan it through discussions, you plan it through brainstorming as to these are the efforts that we want to bring to, after 1 year if you want to bring Nasik topper, or after 2 years if you want to bring the Nasik topper. So that plan has to be very concrete, has to be very strong. So that is the reason why we say that begin with the end in mind. You as a teacher has to be very clear about the vision, has to be very clear about the goal. Okay, I hope this is clear. Habit number 2 is also clear. Begin with the end in mind. So this is about the goal, having a clear vision and having a mental creation. Now we move on to habit number 3. And habit number 3 is put first thing first. My dear friends, this is related to prioritization. Many times when you are working as a teacher, a lot of time, you will have, so many things. You will say, oh my God, ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है. मैं क्या कर दूं? मुझे तो समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा है. There is so much of work on my head, and I am unable to manage. So, my dear friends, this is something which will be very beneficial to you and which is related to prioritizing. You have to prioritize your task. What is most urgent and most important? What is urgent and important? What is not urgent and not important? So, so you have to, I will not go to jury's window because that may be, little bit, that may take more time. But then I would I would recommend that when we are talking about time management, I must tell you one thing which you all actually know. When you need money, you can borrow money. But when you need time, you cannot borrow time. So the only thing that we can do with time is time management. You also have 24 hours. I too have 24 hours. Your, whoever is the founder of the institution, that honorable person will also have 24 hours. The prime minister, honorable prime minister will also have 24 hours. But when you see, they are utilizing each and every second of the day minutely. And that is the reason why they are better or they are more successful than what, other person is. There are small tips that I always follow, and I have observed, those who are effective teacher always follow. So I would share those tips with you. Tip number 1 is you have to decide your priority. What is more important for you? Okay. For example, if you have a meeting at 12 noon, so that is one work you have to do. If you have a lecture at 10 and you haven't prepared for it, so that is also one thing you have to do. If you have, an activity which is planned after 4 days and you are the in charge of that, so that is also one task for which you have to plan. So in this, what will be your first priority? Definitely your first priority would be that you have to prepare for your lecture first. So you have to do that because you cannot enter the class without preparing, isn't it? So that is what you are prioritizing. And for prioritizing, if you have 10 things to do in a day, you have to prepare a to-do list. So it is to-do list. So to-do list always says that you have to write down, you have to jot down number 1 to number 10, whatever task you have. And whenever you come back from a period, whenever you come back to your position, you can just, either you can carry that to-do list with you, you can create that on your desktop or in your laptop, or you can write that in your diary. I always write. I have a record of, whatever I do each and every day since last 5 years. So that's a very good habit. I'm telling you because this works as a record also. And whenever you have done with some activity, you can just put a tick, right? Oh, I have taken the lecture. Oh, I have done with the planning of the activity. Yes, this task was given by Ina ma'am to do, and I have completed this. So this will help you in one more thing, and that's the third secret of time management, and that is no backlog or zero backlog. We have to see that when we are working of putting first thing first, my dear friends, as a teacher, as a leader, we always should practice zero backlog. Let me give you an example to make it more clear to you. This always happens with us as leaders or as teachers or as coordinators. So, for example, you come to know that tomorrow there is some inspection or there is some audit, and XYZ person is going to come, and then it gives you a lot of stress. So what you will do in that situation? So what you may get panic if you have not practiced the zero backlog mechanism, if your files are not complete, and you will be spending plenty of time on completing your files. Instead, if you have practiced zero backlog, what will you do at that time? You will be relaxed, you will be comfortable, and you will say to yourself, I am ready for the inspection because I have updated my file on daily basis. So you will stop worrying, isn't it? So that is why I always say prioritize and always practice the zero backlog mechanism. You will always feel you will be always at a relaxed position. Okay, so this is the third habit. I am sure you are clear with the third habit also. So by now, let me revise. We have discussed that the best gift that we have received from life is the gift of, from God is the gift of life. From life, we are expecting majorly two things. One is success and second is happiness. So then we started discussing about 7 mantras of highly effective teacher. And we said habit number 1 is being proactive. So we should not be reactive. Whatever choices we make, we have to be very wise at making those choices. We need to take the responsibility of making our choices, and whatever challenges come, we need to take those challenges as an opportunity. Okay, so I'm going ahead and I'm just revising the habits, and then I'll be going to the next habits. Habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. Okay, so here we saw that the leader and the teachers need to be very clear with the vision. If the vision and the goal is clear, then you can make actions to achieve the vision. Habit number 3 that we are talking about is that we have talked about is putting first thing first. That is prioritizing. And for that, we discussed that we need to manage our time. For managing our time as teachers, we need to prepare the to-do list, we need to prioritize our tasks, and we need to practice the mechanism of zero backlog. I hope you are clear with the 3 habits. Now we are going to the 4th habit. So with your permission, I am going to the 4th habit. And this is most important. Then it says, think win-win. खुद भी जीते, दूसरों को भी जिताए. आप खुद भी जीते और दूसरों को भी जीतने का आनंद दे. My dear friends, it is very easy to say, but it is very difficult to practice. Do you know why? So because we are born and brought up in an environment where we are always taught about competition by our teachers, by our parents, by our relatives, and we are always compared by them. Sometimes unfortunately parents also compare, मेरा तो छोटा बच्चा ज़्यादा smart है और मेरा बड़े बच्चे से. So this is, worst thing that any parent can ever do. So because we are born and brought up in such environment, it is, it becomes very difficult for us to think win-win situation. Let me share with you one story. So this is a story about a balloon activity. So this is what I actually practiced also with some of my students, and I actually noticed. I will tell you what I noticed. So once upon a time, I had certain balloons. तो मैंने वो जो फूले हुए balloons थे, what I did with that is I distributed those balloons to all my students. Okay, so there were around 35 students. We were on the ground, and I told them that these are the balloons that I have given you, and I gave them an instruction. After 1 minute, whoever is left with the balloon in the hand, that person will be the winner. मैंने उनको balloon दिया और मैंने फूला हुआ balloon दिया और मैंने उनको बोला कि जिसके 1 मिनट के बाद जिसके भी हाथ में balloon बचेगा रहेगा वो winner होगा. And then I said, start. You will not believe what was expected is, same thing happened also. सब लोग एक दूसरे के balloon फोड़ने में busy हो गए. What was the instruction? जिसके भी हाथ में 1 मिनट के बाद balloon होगा वो विजेता होगा. The person who is left over with the balloon will be the winner. But what happened actually is किसी के भी एक जो लड़की बहुत ज्यादा हाइटेड थी तो उसके हाथ में बलून बच गया, बाकी सबने एक दूसरे का बलून फोड़ दिया. And then I asked them, what was the instruction given to you and what you actually did? So they said, ma'am, you said जिसके भी हाथ में बलून बचेगा वो विनर होगा. तो हमने क्या कर दिया, हमने एक दूसरे का बलून फोड़ दिया ताकि हमारे हाथ में बलून बचे और हम विनर हो जाए. So this unfortunately is the thinking, is the mindset that we have developed over a period of time, that we think of win-lose. So I win and the other person should lose. Rather, we should always think about win-win situation wherein I also win and the other person also win. Now, in this, there are some tips that I would like to give first to leaders because their role is most important. So, when I say leaders, I mean the coordinators, the experienced teachers, the principal. So, if it is a failure, this is very important lesson, and I'm sure you all are practicing. It is just a reminder to our minds. If it is a failure, it is because of me. So if it is a failure, the leader has to say it is because of me, should take the responsibility. And if it is an achievement, a major achievement, it is because of the team. So if it is a failure, it is because of me, and if it is a success, it is because of the team. So if you practice this mantra, I'm sure you are practicing think win-win situation. Also, if you are teachers, as a teacher, you should always remember that you should always learn to cooperate with others. So let's take an example. If you are very good at taking lessons, you have to help others in planning their lessons more effectively or as wonderfully as you are planning your lesson. If you are very good with art, and if somebody else is not good at with art, so you can, whoever is good with art can help the other person in making the teaching aid. So this is think win-win situation when you are distributing the credit of your work among everybody. This is where you are practicing the principle of cooperation and collaboration. So C, alphabet should not stand for competition or comparison, but C should always stand for cooperation and collaboration. And this is our fourth habit. I hope I am clear with the fourth habit also. Okay, so let us proceed. Let us proceed. And here we have the fifth habit. The fifth habit is also very interesting. And it says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. पहले दूसरों को समझे, फिर खुद कुछ समझाए. Many times it happens that हमको अगर गुस्सा आ जाता है, if we get angry, तो हम फटाफट बोल देते हैं और हम सामने वाले को सुनते भी नहीं है कि उसने हमें ऐसा क्यों कहा. So it is very important as a teacher that we become good listeners. Now this also actually is, you will be very surprised if I tell you one fact. The fact says that since childhood, we are trained to become good speakers. So for that, teacher conduct various competition for us. Allocation competition is conducted. Extempore competition is conducted. तो जहाँ पर हमें सिखाया जाता है by our teachers, मुझे बचपन में हमें टीचर्स ने सिखाया कि आपको अच्छा वक्ता बनना चाहिए. You should know how to speak, fluently, effectively, persuasively, etc. But then we are never trained. We are never trained in listening, isn't it? So that is very, so my dear friends, it is very important that we as teachers should develop patience. We should learn to manage our emotions. We should listen to student problem, and we should listen to our colleagues also. Then we can definitely practice this habit. Next habit, which is sixth habit, which talks about synergy. मिलजुल कर काम करिए. This is something which talks about teamwork, diversity. So for example, to give you an example, take example of, our body. Imagine if heart will not work and other organs are working, what would happen? We will die, isn't it? So how each organ is important. A leader needs to understand that each individual in the organization is important. So a leader can definitely practice this teamwork in the organization, and as a teacher, you have to enjoy working with everybody, and that is what is the meaning of synergy. You should enjoy teamwork. And we come with the last habit because we have last 2 minutes remaining, and this says sharpening the saw. My dear friends, it says you have to be physically fit as a teacher. You have to have your breakfast, lunch on time, because if you are physically not fit, you will not be able to achieve anything, right? You will not be able to teach effectively. Second is you should be emotionally stable. So have friends, enjoy with your family, enjoy outing, enjoy with your student. You have to read, write, find out different ways of teaching, right? And you have to, so This is what is sharpening the saw. You have to keep on learning some or the other skill to update yourself. So this is something which deals about updating yourself. So this is from my side about 7 habits of highly effective people. I will concentrate on the 7th habit that I was talking about. That it is, I feel as a teacher, it is most important, and it is sharpening the saw. Now, my dear friends, it is quite possible that some of us have done our PED 10 years before, 15 years before, or maybe 5 years before. So now it is said that knowledge gets doubled after every 5 years. So this shows that we have to update our knowledge every now and then. Now, how we can update our knowledge? The first thing that we need to do is reading. So we need to read every day. We need to, and also we need to read variety. So if you have read, let us say a fiction today, so you may, read some other kind of book the other day. So this will bring, a beautiful, this will start a beautiful thought process. Also, you'll be able to give more examples to the class. You may become quite famous in your circle of influence also, because then you will have something to say to the people if you are reading. Now, this sharpening the saw actually has 5 components. The very first component it speaks about is physical. I always have observed this. Actually, I conducted a small research also on this, and wherein I observed that many times teachers, female teachers especially, they skip their breakfast. Now, because they skip their breakfast, they lose their energy in the morning. So I would always say that, that if you want to be mentally fit, you need to be physically fit. And if you want to be physically fit, the first thing you should do is, please do some kind of exercise, do some kind of meditation, and always have a heavy breakfast, because you may not know that when you are once in the office, once you are in the school, whether you will be able to, whether you will be able to get time for breakfast or not. So that is very important that you come, that you are physically fit and you come to school with your stomach full. Always carry plenty of water even when you are going to the class. So have a small bottle. This I have observed with male faculties. I'm sorry, I am not making any kind of gender discrimination, but I have always noticed कि जब male faculties आते हैं या gents faculties आते हैं, तो वो कभी भी पानी carry नहीं करते हैं. So I would always request everybody that always carry a small bottle of water with them. You may have, 3 to 4 bottles because you require a lot of energy to deal with today's energy. That is students, because they are full of energy and enthusiasm. Second thing, it talks about sharpening the saw. After physical, it talks about is emotional balance. Now, so when I talk about emotional, you are teachers, but at the same time, you are human beings. So please understand, you need to have friends. You need to have a good relation with your family. You need to have good relation with your relatives. So spend quality time with your family also every day. You cannot, if you want to grow, that doesn't mean you will always be busy with, your planning and your execution and meetings, this and that. You need to have a balance between your profession and your personal life as well. So you need to have a very, very soft and comfortable relationship with your, what should I say, with your students also. Sometimes if you feel you can have, you can have a bit of, snacks with your students also. That will help you to create an emotional bond with your students. Then after physical, after emotional, third thing I would like to tell you about sharpening the saw. The third component talks about mental well-being. So mental well-being, for increasing the mental well-being, as I said, you need to read a lot. I would also advise, if you're a writer, start writing also, and you should, this is a skill which you should practice each and every day. So, and at the same time, you should also innovate on teaching methodology. So today, if you are used, for example, let me give an example. In the recent days when I'm taking e-sessions, so my students told me, ma'am, if you are going to teach us about educational thinkers, social thinkers, social reformers, it is going to be very difficult for us to remember the date and, the year when they did this, when they did that activity. So what I did is I converted the content into a story form. and I told them, or I taught them with the help of a story. So I think this is what we all can practice. So I use storytelling method. So this is what we all keep on innovating. We keep on searching. So this is about, so after physical, it is emotional, after emotional, it is mental, and after mental, most important is spiritual. So spiritual says that if you have an interest in music, listen to music. If you have an interest in art, make drawing, paintings, because that will give you happiness. If you like, spend every day some time with with yourself. And most importantly, whatever God you preach, you have to spend some time in prayer and some time in service. So I think if you focus on these 5 components, you'll be able to sharpen your saw. One thing that I would like to tell you all is, we always pay for our vehicle. We pay maintenance for our vehicle, isn't it? We pay maintenance for our house, isn't it? We pay maintenance, for almost every asset that we have. Then why don't we pay maintenance for ourselves, to improve ourselves? So it is very important that if we want to keep ourselves updated, we need to have some time for ourselves. And this is what I would like to, say that, my dear friends, we all are effective teachers, but then our journey of becoming more effective teachers should never ever stop, because improvement is something which will never ever stop if we have an attitude of lifelong learning. With this, I will just end my, whatever I am talking about with a poem that I have written. If you all allow me, I will speak. The title of the poem is Shikshak, and the poem is written in Hindi. हाँ मैं तेरा शिक्षक हूँ, हाँ मैं तेरा रक्षक हूँ, हाँ मैं तुझे बुराइयों से बचाने आया हूँ, मैं तुझे सक्षम बनाकर समाज में सम्मान दिलाने आया हूँ। हाँ मैं तेरा शिक्षक हूँ, हाँ मैं तेरा रक्षक हूँ, मैं तुझे अ आ इ ई तो सिखाऊंगा, मैं तुझे अच्छे और बुरे का फर्क भी समझाऊंगा, मैं तुझे शब्दों का ज्ञान तो दूंगा, पर कब कौन सा शब्द कहाँ प्रयोग करना है इसकी समझ भी दूंगा, मैं तुझे गणित, भाषा, इतिहास, भूगोल का ज्ञान तो दूंगा, पर मैं तुम्हें इसमें तुम इससे कैसे काबिल बनो इसकी समझ भी दूंगा, मैं तुम्हें ब्रह्मांड का ज्ञान तो दूंगा, पर तुम इस ब्रह्मांड में तारे बनकर कैसे चमको इस पर ध्यान भी दूंगा, मैं तुम्हें व्हाट्सएप, फेसबुक, ट्विटर का ज्ञान भी दूंगा, पर इसका प्रयोग समझदारी से कैसे करना है इसकी समझ भी दूंगा। हाँ मैं तेरा शिक्षक हूँ, हाँ मैं तेरा रक्षक हूँ, यह सब ज्ञान तो मैं तुझे दूंगा, पर बदले में मैं कुछ भी नहीं मांगूंगा, क्योंकि हाँ मैं तेरा शिक्षक हूँ, हाँ मैं तेरा रक्षक हूँ।